Namaskara, Bangalore. A very, very good afternoon to all of you. Um, as Sandeep mentioned, I'm going to talk about the developer's new superpower, creating AI that thinks like the business. So the key focus is going to be on the developer. Uh, the software development lifecycle is going through a massive transformation, as we all know, and it's all powered by AI. So the developer has two choices. One is disrupt or be disrupted. And the developers who understand this AI evolution mindset are going to lead this evolution. So a bit about me. Who in the room has heard about Bell Canada? Anyone in the room? Yes, quite a few. So for those of you who don't know, Bell is one of the most recognized brands globally in the communications industry. And I lead the GCC for Bell Canada here in Bangalore. We've just set up an office about 7 months ago, and we are about 500 people who work here. So we build tech around applications in the communications industry around the edge. And I've been with Bell 27 long years, so I'm almost like vintage here. But this age and experience has given me a balcony seat, and I've seen the evolution from copper to wireless to fiber and now to satellite, and all of this connectivity coming together very meaningfully. So I would like to share some of my views on what the new developer mindset is. So anybody in the room recognize these famous landmark words? Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you. Anyone? It's not Sherlock Holmes, I'm sorry, but these are not just words. This is a profound sentence which connected human to humans in a very meaningful way. These were the first words uttered on the telephone. And so this is actually a mural in our office in Bangalore. That's Alexander Graham Bell, and that's Watson. And these are the words that Alexander Graham Bell, he called Watson to his office. And this was transmitted over copper. Now, voice communication became so meaningful, and it really, compared to Telegram, it really resonated with the people. And the reason for that is voice contains intent. Voice contains context. It contains emotion. And even 150 years later, we're trying to do the same thing with AI. We're trying to capture the context and the intent and get a meaningful response back. Now, this is our office in Montreal in the late 1800s, and calls used to be connected through manual people sitting in an office and connecting cables. And a simple phone call used to take anywhere between 10 minutes to 2 hours. And now, the same call routing happens in under 8 milliseconds using software routing. So this is a very profound inflection in the communications history, and our company kind of bears its evolution from these roots. And it's not just the communications industry that saw these technology inflection points. In the 15th century, we had the printing press, which democratized knowledge. Then came the steam engine that powered our industries and ushered in the Industrial Revolution. Then in the 19th century came electricity, which powered our cities and connected the countries, and it created modern society as we knew it. We built refrigerators, vacuum cleaners, and a lot of utilities, applications behind this utility. And finally came the internet, which kind of digitally connected all of us. So these technology breakthroughs were very profound, but trust me, there was a lot of pain and labor disruption during this evolution. A lot of jobs were lost, but a lot of new jobs were created. And overall, it was an advancement of humanity because wages grew, the middle class got more consumption power, and the economies came together very meaningfully. So the question I want to ask you is AI any different from these inflection points? Well, the answer is that in many aspects it is very similar, but there is one big difference, is that AI is going to profoundly change everything we do, but it has the power to reason. It is autonomous. And through the help of humanity, it is going to help us create that next inflection point, not in 100 years, but in the next 5 to 7 years. So that is the fundamental difference. And people who understand this opportunity are going to lead this evolution. So if in terms of AI jobs, right, where are the jobs? There are 3 fundamental types of categories. So you have the foundation companies building large language models, then you have the product companies, and then the infrastructure companies which are layered on top. So if you really do your research, these constitute only 2% of the job market, and you need PhDs to work here. The real job market is in a 4th layer called the services companies, and most of the value creation happens here. Most of the investments are going to happen here. So BCE Global Tech is a services company. We are moving from a network-centric company to a more customer-centric company. So we are creating intelligent applications and journeys at the edge, and we understand the customer's pain point, and we are solving real pain points. So we are moving beyond the POC to actually solving customers' aspirations and building loyalty with them. And this is where all developers should focus on. So what do these services companies do? Pretty much we can categorize their work in 3 buckets. Productivity. So developers are trying to do more with less or more with the same. If all companies use the same set of large language models, the 5G pipe looks the same everywhere. So really the differentiation is in how do you put your own values and your culture into your code, and that translates into the experience that you give to the customer. So differentiation is very, very key. And finally, services companies are trying to innovate, meaning creating things that haven't been done before or create ideas that don't exist today. So who in this room is a developer or work very closely with a developer? Can you please raise your hands? That's a lot of you. Now keep your hands raised if you think that code is the most valuable asset you produce. Yeah, not many of you, which is actually the right answer. My opinion is that code represents only 20% of your value. And if you think code is your most valuable asset, you're underselling yourself. The real value is in the other 80%, which is structured communication. And we hold the code close to our heart, and it's natural to think that it's the most important asset because it is the asset that we refer to, we measure, we read, we debate, we deploy. But it is not your most valuable asset. If you look at the communication pipeline, any, let's say, any nice project or program that you work on, you start by collecting the requirements. You distill, you ideate, you debate, you translate, you test, you verify. These are not coding activities. These are structured communication. And structured communication is where most of the value creation happens. And the people who understand this and who can articulate this in the form of code will have new superpowers. So I want you to all think of prompt as a source code. So what do we do in ChatGPT today? We write a prompt, then we get some output, we keep the output and we delete the prompt. It is completely backward thinking. Really, your prompt is your source code, right? So if you decompile your code and try to get the requirements from your code, you will not get the comments. You will not understand why the developer created the variable the way he did. So really, your source code is your prompt, and the prompt is like a seed. With that seed, you can grow as many trees or plants as you want, right? So when you compile code, you get binary, and you can compile your binary as many times as you want. So binary code is not your value, right? So think of prompt as your source code. And I also want you to think about something new, which is called model specification as code. So capturing your intent and your values as code. So there is this thing called Markdown. It's like the constitution of the country. It is actually code. You can version it. You can see ambiguity between cascading clauses. Your nation's values are in the constitution. So any program should start with model specification as code, and you get your lawyer, your finance prime, your data analyst, your programmer, contribute to what you're building, how you're building as a model specification, and create a code artifact out of that. And that should be the foundation of every inspirational project that you create. So please try to think about this. The new code is to go from syntax to intent using model specification as code. Now, are all projects successful when you use AI? The hype is that throw AI in, rub it in, and everything's going to be better. But it's not really the case. There is this very important Stanford study which kind of measures task complexity with language popularity. And I'll summarize it for you. So if you're working on a greenfield project with a modern popular language like Java, which has a lot of code corpus, your productivity will probably go up by 30%. But if you're looking at a brownfield project with a legacy code base of, let's say, COBOL, probably your productivity is going to go down. AI is going to generate a lot of verbose code, and there's going to be a lot of rework. So not all AI is the same, and AI does not boost productivity equally. And there are a lot of facets in this, and this research was done across 100 companies, across 5,000 developers. So there is a lot of other facets to this around context window and how to chunk your code and things like that. So please go and look at this more carefully. Now, there are some new primitives emerging. So when you think of prompt as source code, you're thinking like an architect. When you're looking at memory context windows, you're trying to link the past to the future, you are thinking like a storyteller. When AI misbehaves, in the keynote this morning, there was the example from Replit. So Replit, this company, is very famous, and there were agents using this platform which started deleting databases in production. So when AI goes rogue, you need to build guardrails. And when you are building guardrails, you're thinking like a parent. You need evaluation checks at every point in the hop in your value chain, in your workflow. This is when you're thinking like a coach. When you're building agents that need to work harmoniously together, you are thinking like a conductor. And finally, alignment research is a new area of work. Aligning the stakeholders in a company to a common goal and articulate it as code. Alignment research needs thinking like a judge or like a board of director. So the people who adopt these behaviors and mindsets are going to be the ones that are successful. And finally, in closing, there are some old patterns. There are some new patterns emerging because of AI. And it is very important to understand why it matters. And I'll simplify it for you. The old style was deal with deterministic rules. But I would say the new hero is not logic, it is data. So developers need to understand domain-specific data, right? It's not just syntax and semantics. Data, which is domain-specific, is your new hero. So data is the oil, and AI is the refinery. And always go with a governance-first approach. So if you don't do governance, you are going to fall into a hole, and the hole is going to get bigger and bigger as you progress through your ecosystem. Think of governance as brakes on a car. So the normal intuition is that the brakes kind of slow you down. But it's exactly the opposite. Because you know you have the control, you accelerate faster, right? So, and in AI, that governance control is data quality, data latency, data privacy, understanding data provenance. And if you have these controls, your legal department, your ethics department is going to give you a green signal or moving forward much faster. So you as a developer, your core skills are still very, very relevant. Try to adopt all these new behaviors into your mindset, and you will be very successful. So we talk about pilots and co-pilots. Your traditional skills are still your pilot. You will get a new co-pilot, build your own co-pilot, and learn and teach it how to fly. Thank you very much. And just one thing, just some flagrant advertising. So we are a brand new company, and we're looking for talented people. So if you're interested in coming to work with us, we're right outside in booth number 2. And we are also doing a master class in Poinsettia number 2. The class is at 3 o'clock, and it's going to be a spicy AI treat. I promise you, if you come there, you won't be disappointed. And we'll be around outside if you want to have questions and take this conversation further. Thank you, Sandeep.
Thanks, Neel. Thanks.